Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe is very important. I think we can all agree. The very first Friday SJU of the decade.
Yeah.
Live one.
Live one.
I was expecting like kind of an excitement from you guys for that. No?
Yeah.
Well, yay! It's fine. Thank you for appeasing my ego on that one. Emma Fyffe in the house.
Yes, I'm here. It's a great Friday. First live Friday of the year. And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, what a way to begin things.
Okay. Billy, business at the table today.
Hello. Hi.
Guys,
Hey! What's up, everybody?
you gotta get out of that cage, Billy. Dan Murrell, this is the
Hello.
decade we agree on all things.
All things. You and I 100% agree on everything.
New birthday, new year, going in strong.
Yeah, had a good time last night at the Hollywood Critics Association.
Oh, yeah,
Awards.
I saw
It's
that you were
the first
there.
year I was part of that organization. We had a great time. 1917 won Best Picture.
Oh, cool.
A lot of great
Happy
winners.
about that.
Lupita Nyong'o won Best Actress,
Whoa,
which is really cool. Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, you fancy, Dan.
Amongst many other wonderful winners.
Weird question for you.
Yes.
How was the food?
Pretty good.
Just
Yeah.
curious. Always wonder those things about award shows. Never been invited. I'm Roxy Striar, guys. We got a lot to talk about today. People stepping
I feel
away from
bad.
all different things. Why?
I don't know.
Why should you feel bad?
We'll
Who's
invite
that?
you to
It's
the
not like
we'll invite you
well,
to the
Dan, you're
screenings.
not-
How about
Yeah,
that?
Zanies.
But you're not the person who's inviting people to this award
No,
show.
I'm not.
Maybe
Actually,
he
I
is.
am.
What a weird hidden
This is
thing he
the
has.
way that Dan outs himself
Yeah.
is not inviting Roxy to
Yes.
this.
Guys, we have to move on from this, but I'm going to hold you to inviting me to that next award show because we have a lot to talk about today. People stepping away from all kinds of projects, including my favorite Marvel movie of all time, Doctor Strange. We also have some Lizzie McGuire stepaways and updates. Saved by the Bell we're talking about today. What year are we in that we're talking about Lizzie McGuire and
What
Saved by the
channel
Bell?
is this? We have a Lizzie McGuire update for you. Like, shit, I haven't been on SJU for a while.
I know. What is this? And then, of course, it is Fan Friday, so we will be taking fan questions. But let's get right into this first story because Scott Derrickson is stepping away from Doctor Strange. He was supposed to be the director of Doctor Strange and the Rad Fad in the Multiverse of Madness.
Nailed it.
Thank you so much. Okay, you guys know I have personal qualms with this movie, but I know in general people are really excited about this and the possible like WandaVision crossover aspects and what's going to actually happen in this sequel. Were you guys excited that Scott Derrickson was directing this in the first place, and are you upset to be losing him? Dan, how are you feeling?
Yeah, because I really like Doctor Strange. I thought it was. I did.
No, I like the quick walk it back. I
didn't love it. I loved the style of it.
Okay.
I loved
the visuals on it were amazing.
I loved
That's true.
the vibe that he brought to the movie. I think it made up for some fairly standard storytelling as far as it's an origin story. I think it kept it fresh. And then this with Scott Derrickson, such a talented horror director. This was billed as a kind of a Marvel horror type film. So to lose him for both of those reasons, that's very concerning, particularly not because, I had another project or I had to step away for personal reasons, but creative differences, which I was just looking up. He had tweeted, I think back in December, something along the lines of, and I'll find it, but like release dates are the death of creativity or something. I'll find it. But yeah, it's just that's a bummer because, I think that he hopefully had a really interesting vision to bring to this, and you don't want it to be rushed.
Emma, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm bummed as well because I am a fan of Scott Derrickson's work. I thought that the first Doctor Strange was very good. Again, the visuals were incredible. I'm never the kind of person that's like, you need to see it in IMAX and in 3D, but with Doctor Strange, you did. It was amazing. And I was hoping that, because as Dan mentioned, Scott Derrickson is a very talented horror director, that he was going to get to lean into his own style of filmmaking even more so with this second film, and it was going to be able to incorporate a lot of those sort of horror and weird suspense kind of elements that I think work really well with Doctor Strange, particularly incorporating some of the WandaVision stuff, which I'm very excited about that show. So to me, the fact that he's stepping away for creative differences tells me to me, it sounds like this is going to be a little more cookie cutter Marvel film than I was originally anticipating.
So on that note, the actual tweet that was put out was, Marvel and I have mutually agreed to part ways on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness due to creative differences. This is Derrickson who's tweeting this. I'm thankful for our collaboration and will remain on as EP. What do you make of that, Billy?
I mean, those are ceremonial titles at best. Maybe they'll keep a structure that he had or some PGA, DGA, whatever. Like, you gotta credit him, but
get invited to the award show, eat that good food.
Eat the good food, yeah. I do think though, like, I wasn't shocked because I remember, I think it was Comic-Con where Scott Derrickson was like, it's gonna be a first Marvel horror movie. In fact, he's like, not scary horror, but like it'll be fine. Like, you could tell they maybe weren't vibing, and I'm sure it's hard to, try to tie your movie in now. It's got to fit to the Disney Plus shows that they've been saying it's kicking to those. So yeah, I mean, it's a bummer, more so, not that he's gone, because that does suck, but it's a bummer. It's like, oh, here we go again. Now, no matter what this movie is, behind the scenes drama will be used as ammo in the arguments for and or against it.
And what he tweeted back on December 15th was, studio release dates are the enemy of art. Which he then said later that he wasn't talking about Marvel Studios, but
What was he talking about?
yeah, I mean he's a very prolific tweeter. So, but I do agree though, a lot of times, it does kind of, I think, inform you to a mentality of the fact that, like, these increasingly are products. They're corporate products.
Yeah.
With tie-ins. It's not necessarily about the art of it. It's just. Man, I was really excited about this movie, and I still am to an extent, but the best franchises that Marvel's had, I think, are the ones where you have a James Gunn, you have a Peyton Reed who certainly gets those characters, who can stick through it. The Russos, obviously, can stick through multiple movies and deliver a really consistent vision and a really consistent take on the character, and I hope that they can find somebody who has that for this character.
I think that the reason I'm not bummed, other than the fact that this isn't my movie, is that we've seen this happen just so many times, and not just in Marvel, in Star Wars and DC and all of the nerd places alike, and not just the nerd places, just any franchise. We've seen it happen over and over again, and we've seen it happen to the success of a film as well. It's not like any time this happens, then the film is worse off, and we see something we don't like. So I think that I've got faith in this still. Is there any name that you guys could see come into it that would make you feel a little better about the situation?
Not better, but there are people I'd love to have.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think.
What is that response?
No, I was cataloging through my brain of horror directors, honestly. But I think that ultimately that's not going to be a fit for what Marvel wants out of this movie.
Yeah.
So now you think they should go in a completely different direction?
I don't know. Well, because it's interesting that you have somebody like a James Gunn, and the Guardians films are so clearly James Gunn's movies. Like, he has such his own sort of directorial stamp on those films. And I would say the same thing about Thor Ragnarok with Taika. And it's interesting because you're like, okay, so Marvel can fit those into their vision, and they can still be these really unique films that feel like they almost work on their own and not being part of this big overarching Marvel universe. So what else can we do stylistically that's still Doctor Strange, but fits what Marvel wants? Yeah. AKA not scary, I guess.
I know the body's not cold, Dan, but anybody you're thinking about?
Lee Whannell, Karin Kusama.
Yeah,
she's tied up with these. These are just names that would just popped into my head. I would like somebody that has that sort of unique, not necessarily maybe horror sensibility, but a very unique personal style. But yeah, it's I don't know.
Billy,
I'm still bummed out.
I get it. Like I said, the body's not cold. I'm asking you guys to.
I was gonna say maybe Rick Famuyiwa. I liked what he did on Mandalorian.
I was gonna say Deborah Chow.
Yeah.
But the one that kind of popped in my head that'd be interesting, David Gordon Green. I really like his comedy stylings, and then I really liked what he did with the Halloween reboot was a year or so ago. I feel like that'd be an interesting choice. You wouldn't think, look, if you had told me that the two guys who directed the paintball episode of Community would do like Infinity War, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. They didn't prove that they could do anything like that. So you can't really think in terms of like, well, does this person know special effects and that? Don't worry about that.
Okay. All right. Well, he's not the only person to step away from a project recently, guys. Moving over to Lizzie McGuire, the creator, left this Disney Plus series, something I actually care a lot more about. Roxy at the table. Terry Minsky is stepping away from her role as showrunner. This is a show that Lizzie McGuire I grew up watching, and I think that everybody was so excited when they heard that Terry Minsky was going to be involved, that the family was going to be involved back on the show. All the pieces seem to kind of be fitting so perfectly into this puzzle, so I'm not surprised that one of the things got shook up a little bit. The quote is, fans have a sentimental attachment to Lizzie McGuire and high expectations for a new series. This is coming from a Disney spokesperson. After filming 2 episodes, we concluded that we need to move in a different creative direction and are putting a new lens on the show. Interesting. I'm not even sure what to make of that.
Wait, is this a guy or
Is
Terry Minsky?
yeah.
Terry Minsky is a woman.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's just one of those,
I didn't know if you meant the Disney
neutral names, so I was like,
It's a
well,
gender-neutral
it'd be
name.
kind of hard to make a like coming of age story.
I thought you meant the spokesperson. I was like, I don't know. It just says Disney spokesperson. They didn't say Disney. Yeah.
No. I guess that kind of sucks because you have to figure they've been filming for at least a week or so they must be getting either
2 episodes. I would say longer.
Yeah.
You're in a writer's room for months. If you're shooting 2 episodes, that's
I don't
months
really.
into it.
But what is that? What is the fact that they're going in a different creative direction after filming 2 episodes? What does that
It means they didn't like them.
it just didn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't working. It wasn't clicking.
I wonder what they. First of all, I want to see those 2 episodes because what did you guys do?
Yeah, I'm
that was not
curious.
that you watched and you were like, oh, that's not good.
I'm definitely curious as well because, again, you were bringing in the creator of the original show, Lizzie McGuire, and you're trying to do this Disney Plus series that's clearly a nostalgia kind of bait, if you will. And you want to go in a different. I'm so confused.
But it's also such a different show, period, because Lizzie McGuire is about a girl in middle school. This is about like a working woman in the world. It's a completely different show. Like to have Lizzie
As
at
is
her
Cobra Kai.
Like, sure, I get it, but I'm saying like to have Lizzie like at her desk or in a meeting and then the little animated thing pop up, I feel like would be very strange.
But I feel like you need that, or is it, or does it cease to be Lizzie McGuire? You know,
I don't know. Do kids really care about the 30-year-old version of Lizzie or
Are kids who we're going after? I mean, from a strategy point of view, I'm curious what you guys think. Like, Cobra Kai is the only example I can think of right now where they took the original thing and changed the tone completely for the same audience that they previously had. This was no longer made just for kids, not just for kids. Anybody can enjoy, but it was
target
just
audience.
such a tonal shift. Dan, do you think that Lizzie McGuire was trying to do something similar and saw that it didn't work, or what do you think? What do you think that happened?
I mean, here's the deal. I've never seen one frame of Lizzie McGuire. I've never seen the show.
Okay.
So
Fascinating.
I can't offer my insights on the actual show because I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I heard the name. That's about
It was
it.
a big deal.
It was a big deal.
I'm not saying it wasn't a big deal. I'm just saying I never watched Lizzie McGuire. So
I don't think you're like waving it off. It just wasn't your.
but
Ryan, it was a big show.
I know, Ryan.
Dan, it was a big show. Okay, did the news because it was a big show.
I'm 30 years older than you, Ryan.
Ryan's
Some
favorite
things
show
are
of
gonna
all
fall
time.
through.
Unreal.
Ryan, are you a Lizzie McGuire fan? Like,
I was an Even Stevens guy.
oh, okay, Even Stevens.
Never
All
seen
right.
the frame of that show either.
But would you think it would be smart business, though, Dan, for them to try to follow this Cobra Kai model where they took a more PG Lizzie McGuire coming of age, growing up girl thing, and now did a more raunchy, real rock and roll
Not
adult?
for Disney Plus. No.
Yeah, that's my concern.
No,
It's Disney Plus.
I think that they would probably. I don't know the approach they were taking, but I think that ideally what they want to do, if you're going to do this, is to take a Fuller House Girl Meets World approach where you're tapping into a show that parents are familiar with, that they can then watch with their kids, and then the kids become fans of that show because they like it, and so you're almost using the parents as a gateway drug to get kids watching the new version of the show, and then they go back. It's like a cycle. They go back and watch the old show, and then you can keep the repetition going. But
Hear that, parents? You're a gateway drug.
maybe just that it's just not a good. I mean, do you know how much bad television gets made? A lot.
Seen a lot of it.
My first job, I've said this before, apologies if you heard it, but my first job in this town was I worked for 4 months on a show that was like the replacement for Monday Night Football on ABC, and like multi-million dollars, billboards everywhere, 4 months of production, not a frame that was ever shot.
Oh my God.
Ever aired on television when I worked there. They aired the pilot, which I didn't work on, and they canceled it. So this idea of like, how could they get so, like, that happens so often that like you get so far down the line and just something's not working. So
I'd rather them reassess now and see 2 episodes and be like, ooh, that was hot garbage. Let's go back to the drawing board. But I do feel bad that this is Terry Minsky's baby, seemingly, and like, bye-bye. We decided that this show has outgrown you, it kind of seems.
Yeah.
Billy, do you care about this at all?
To the extent that I would like this to be an entertaining conversation, but also
what about to the extent that
I mean, I feel like Disney Plus now is kind of in a rock and a hard place. They can't just do all this well, they did. They brought her out on stage and stuff, so they can't just sweep it under the. Well, they can, but they shouldn't just sweep it under the rug. Like, they have to do something, but. I don't know. I thought it was very strange when they said Lizzie McGuire was going to come back, because that show is so much about that point in your life that I was like, this seems like a different show.
Well, this is the problem with leveraging IP as a publicity tool is ideally what you would do is bring Terry Minsky back or whoever back and say, or bring Lord Miller in and say, hey, we're interested in making a Lizzie McGuire reboot, or we're interested in making a Han Solo movie. And then you develop it and you see if it's a good idea over many, many months. And then once you have a high degree of confidence that this is going to work, then you say, hey, world, we're making a Lizzie McGuire reboot. Or, hey, world, Lord Miller making a Han Solo movie. But instead now, because of the way it has to work, they tell the world what they're doing first, and then they hire people, and then they start developing it. And it's like, this is what happens. You put yourself in a position where you have to deliver something because you've already told people that you were doing it before really a lot of the work was done on doing the development part of actually figuring out how you're going to do it. It's such an ass backwards way a lot of times of doing things. Sometimes the development phase is important because you can go to maybe a Lizzie McGuire or something like it and revisit it and go like, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't the best idea.
We cool.
And then nobody.
I mean, they were just throwing out all the stops to get those subscriber numbers. That it was just like, do you want to see what's on our whiteboard? You better subscribe now. You know what I mean?
I think that Dan, you bring up a good point of why we're seeing this publicly happen so much more often, of projects changing hands as far as directors, showrunners, writers, what have you go, because again, we are living in this era of we're doing this. Like, for example, with Star Wars, even aside from we're going to do a Han Solo movie, it's like, we're doing a new trilogy. We're definitely doing 3 more movies instead of just going, hey, we're going to make a movie and kind of see where we go from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
If we've learned one thing, it's that Lizzie McGuire is a big show. So nobody can say otherwise.
So saith Ryan.
Very big show. Guys, we want to know what you think at home. Curious, do you think Lizzie McGuire is a big show? Are you excited about any of these mix-ups and switches up? Oh my God, I'm just making a joke. Let me do my job. Are you excited about some of these shakeups, or are you upset about them? Who would you want to see as replacements for both Doctor Strange and Lizzie McGuire? Tons of more stuff to talk about today. Who thought I would ever be saying that in a sentence together? Like, it's been a big week in Doctor Strange and Lizzie McGuire.
What if they switched? What if Scott Derrickson was like, I think I can crack Lizzie McGuire as an adult?
I honestly would be okay. I would be okay with this just as an experiment. retirement.
All right, here just for context.
Give me context.
Lizzie McGuire aired from the time that I was 18 to the time that I was 22 years old. It would be kind of weird if I was watching.
You'd be on an FBI watch list.
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
were.
And it aired in a big way, Dan.
Yeah, so just for context.
Yes. I just picture you 18 years old, like, what am I going to do today?
Watch Lizzie McGuire.
Obviously.
Sure. I'm a college sophomore, single dude. Let me watch Lizzie McGuire alone.
That's how you got to hang out with all your friends. You guys want to come over and watch Lizzie McGuire? You want to check out newest Lizzie? No, nobody. Wow, what a weird turn this show has taken. You know what else is weird? All the other content we're making, guys. We have tons of incredible stuff going on right now, like Power Levels, voiced by your very own Emma Fyffe. Apparently.
Thanks, guys.
Check this one out, The Force versus Magic. It's really, really awesome. This has been one of my favorite things to work on in the last year. I'm obsessed with this series, and thanks to everybody who has checked it out so far. Also, another thing that you guys absolutely know and love already, honest trailers and honest trailer commentary. Dan, what's going on in the world of honest trailers right now?
We did every Quentin Tarantino movie. So if you like our every movie series of trailers, we've done one now for Chris Nolan. We did one for Wes Anderson. I believe Tarantino's our Tim Burton.
Tim Burton?
Yes,
Yeah.
we did Tim Burton. So I think Tarantino is our fourth director to get the every director movie. It was super fun. We liked it a lot.
He deserved it.
We wrote a song. Well, we didn't write a song. Matt Citron, who's our amazing musician that we consult with all the time, wrote a great song about feet. And
Goodness.
It's one of my. I like it a lot. It's a really fun trailer. So check it out. Especially if you like Quentin Tarantino movies, especially you're really going to appreciate it. If you don't, if you're like Lizzie McGuire with Quentin Tarantino and me, maybe you won't understand it as much. I don't know.
Tarantino is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
There's a lot of big releases he has. Also, you've been hard at work because Never Surrender is available now. I know the links are in the description. I feel like at this point, guys, if you're watching the show and you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Like, you have to go check this out.
I believe it's included on Amazon Prime. Yep. Is that correct? So if you have Amazon Prime, you can go watch it right now for
Game
nothing.
changer.
Yeah.
Damn.
Check it out.
That's pretty amazing. And Billy, what's going on with Mandalorian stuff?
So we're going to be doing a full season 1 kind of recap, breakdown, review, and that will be on Fandom Entertainment, this channel, tomorrow.
Okay.
There you go.
Things to look forward to at all times of every day.
Yeah. Why not?
Such enthusiasm
I'm
from
loving
Billy.
the Billy Roxy vibe today, guys.
Yep.
Don't forget, like I said, comment, let us know how you guys are feeling. Also, don't forget to hit that bell. I can tell he's just not even.
Yeah, he's not paying attention. There it is.
I even looked at him,
I know.
pointed. I tried to lead it up. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and watching us. And
Stop interacting with the fans, Ryan, and hit the bell.
Jeez. More things that we want to talk about, though. I know that you guys are hearing about this and seeing images just like we are all over the place. But what's going on in Australia is devastating. And I know if you're like me, you want to know where the best place to show your support is, how to donate where it actually gets where you're trying to go. So we have been fully vetting different links, and we're putting them in the description for the rest of January. We're going to be sharing these links where you can donate to help what's going on in Australia and the wildfires. So check out the links in the description below if you would like to support, which I know everybody really would like to do, because it's just insane what's going on there. And I think everybody at this table, our hearts just go out to everybody that is being affected by the wildfires, which really is every person on the planet.
It is, yeah. At the risk of getting editorialized here, and if you can't donate, maybe look up your representatives in your various governments and see what their positions are on climate change, and maybe make yourself heard. Because I am of the belief, and it's sad that I have to say that I am of the belief, but I am of the belief that it is a very, very catastrophic series of events unfolding globally, and right now Australia is really taking the brunt of it. So our hearts are obviously with everyone there.
Speaking of transitions of the year, other places that our hearts are with, Saved by the Reboot. All right,
the bell.
guys.
There it is. Good job, Ryan. He was on that one.
Damn, I didn't even realize what he was doing.
Yeah.
That was really clever.
It was really good.
I get
Thank you to the Rap and Hollywood Reporter, as our very own Joe Starr likes to say to her. We appreciate this news. So after previously saying publicly that he had not been approached to reprise his role in the upcoming reboot of Saved by the Bell, Mark Paul Gosselaar has closed a deal to join the new streaming series. The Rap learned this. His co-star Tiffany is also in talks to appear on the show. So her deal is not yet closed. Yeah, that's
Yes.
he like nails the
Aged
open.
incredibly well.
The open
He really
mouth.
has.
It's
Like Mark Paul
2020 that was taken, right?
Yeah,
Just,
that's a New Year's party.
Guys, this is going to be a wild new decade that we are entering into of reboots and such. I can't believe the year that we're in that I'm talking about Saved by the Bell and Lizzie McGuire. But thoughts on this in general about not being approached and being approached, closing a deal? Emma, you seem excited?
No, I'm just baffled by this
Okay.
show. I am going to watch it out of morbid curiosity. And I think we talked about this on SJU before the first time we talked about this show happening. In what world is Zach Morris the governor of California and Jesse is a school teacher? Like,
this one?
Yeah.
Billy?
Yeah.
Tracks. It tracks.
That's the thing is, unfortunately,
It tracks.
that tracks.
Into it, Billy?
You know what? Yeah, I think so. Look, Saved by the Bell is so crazy because it itself was a reboot of a show, Good Morning Miss Bliss, and then it had 2 spin-offs, one of which went longer than Saved by the Bell, and now we're getting a reboot of that. So
I think it's a continuation.
This is this weird mutating genetic deformity that I can't wait to see how. Actually, you know what? Don't tell me how Zach became governor. Let me fill in the blanks, but let me see Zach as governor.
Dan,
That's what I care about.
Dan, anything you're thinking, hoping, wishing, dreaming about this?
Well, Zach Morris always had a scheme, so I'm sure he had some kind of
That's
scheme
true.
involving, putting Screech in a dress and stopping time that got him elected to the governorship of California.
Yeah, can he do
bizarre.
time
I was
out
gonna say,
like in the house?
I really hope they keep that conceit.
Yeah.
That Zach
Yeah.
can stop time and talk to the camera.
I mean, it didn't go to college with him, so
No.
I'm guessing it didn't go to
You know, he kind of
Sacramento
dropped
with him.
it
Sometimes
after a while.
That happens all the time, where things don't come to college with you, and then later on
true.
in life you
Yeah.
get them back.
If I had time powers, I
Yeah.
would take them to college. I mean, it's like, that's just a nice thing to have. It's like, time out, whoa.
yeah.
And the
Just
fact that it
curious.
wasn't like time out, I need to gather my thoughts. It was like
No.
time out, I'm going to move this guy's arm so he hits someone
Yeah.
else as I escape.
He's like Quicksilver.
Yeah.
That is a different show.
The
Yeah.
imagery is just so strong right now of Dan in college. Time out. I've got to go watch Lizzie McGuire.
Time out. I'm going to bend some Lizzie McGuire and not
doesn't
into
count.
criminology class.
Everyone stop. I've got to watch Lizzie. What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So much Dan in college imagery coming in right now.
But yeah, no, it was I just don't know, whatever. It's I guess it's the same thing as the Lizzie McGuire thing. Is like they want to get the parents, because it's about the new kids at Bayside, so they want to get the parents who know the show to get the kids watching the show on Peacock.
Do you think that Zach Morris returning is the thing that will get the parents to get the kids to Peacock?
I don't know, man.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing is I feel like a Saved by the Bell without Zach Morris doesn't work.
Does it work with him?
I don't know.
Disagree. Like I said, Saved by the Bell, the new class went for 7
That's
seasons.
true. It did go for a
went
long time.
Way longer, but they had Screech.
Yeah, but this bullseyes my fandom, because my God, Saved by the Bell, hours a day,
Yeah,
years
totally.
at a time when I was
Yeah.
growing up. I can say, as perhaps the target audience for this reboot, I'm perfectly fine with just watching the old Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
I don't need new Saved by the Bell. I don't need it to be updated.
Yeah.
But it's not, again, it's this weird thing of like, they're making something that's not for me, but they need me to get other people interested in it.
This to me reminds me a little of the Fuller House effect, because I feel like as somebody, and again, I watched a ton of Saved by the Bell, I watched a ton of Full House. I have middling to no interest in Fuller House. I have a little more interest in Saved by the Bell, and I think it's because of what you pointed out, Billy, of Saved by the Bell has been this weird, ever-evolving amalgamation of stuff from other shows, basically. So to me, that makes it a little bit more interesting, but again, I'm not like this is my dream.
It's not us. It's our kids. It's our hypothetical kids. They want us. They want our generation to get our progeny hooked on a whole new generation because like that's where the base is. You get the kids watching, then you got millions of impressionable viewers who in 40 years they will sell another reboot of the same franchise back to.
Oh my God.
Pitching me this as like Back to the Future style, like Zach Morris, his son has to like go back
His son has a whole new set of powers. Yeah.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm
It went from not my dream to definitely my fever dream. If nothing else. I'll watch that. Yeah.
Any care if Kelly comes back and solidifies her deal or not?
Do you think they're still married?
Oh, Zach and Kelly.
Yeah. Did that last?
If they invalidate the whole 4-episode slash TV movie
Yes,
Wedding
I
in Las
do.
Vegas,
Dan's
I'm
like,
going to be
I'm
very
out.
upset.
Maybe they're struggling. I don't know. Like, you think they've just been like happily going along this whole time?
I don't know.
I think that would be refreshing because too often in film franchises, in TV shows, etc., when we see characters who got together in a previous story, when we see them in the next story, they're having problems. I would just like a story of, you know what? Relationships are complicated, yes, but ultimately at the end of the day, these people are together and they're good and they're there for each other.
Corey and Topanga were fine.
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
They had 2 kids.
Yeah.
Zach and Kelly couldn't stay together for more than 3 episodes.
I know, that's the thing.
Same with Ross and Rachel. Everybody always asks me that. If they come back, do I think they're together? I don't know, man.
What if Kelly's with Jeff now?
The
Max guy.
The guy who
stole her.
That would be
from
bizarre.
Zach.
the older
That'd be
man.
great.
Why do you want that, Billy?
Because Zach got Kelly back, great.
Yeah.
But he never got that like real closure with Jeff. And it really, by the way, Slater is a terrible friend because the very next episode they're at Lisa's birthday party and he's like, "Oh, let's talk about wrestling. Let's be friends." It's like what a backstab! Like you're supposed to be my boy and you're hanging out with Jeff.
Wow,
Get the
it
F
feels
outta
like you
here.
have some like unresolved feelings
I do.
that you want to air out.
That
with the new show.
two-parter guts me, and I hate it.
If Kelly is with Jeff
Yeah.
and Zach is with Stacey Carosi from their summer job at the
true.
resort with their boss,
Yes.
Pumbaa. Ernie Sabella.
It is. I was going to say
It is Ernie Sabella, yeah. Then again, you got me interested, but it's not that they don't want that deep cut stuff. No, it's about the new class.
A new class.
I mean, Boy Meets or Girl Meets World, they were throwing in the deepest of deep cuts by the end. They were like Janitor Bud. You're like, oh my God. Yeah, this guy's like 90.
Was Mr. Feeney in Girl Meets World?
Phoenix?
He was like an apparition in the pilot.
He was a force ghost?
Kind of.
He made
like,
an appearance.
He was like
It's
he was like a daydream.
Boy Meets World Star Wars crossover.
Yeah.
What's going
They
on?
like look at a billboard. He's like, "Well done, Mr. Matthews," and then you look back and it's like he's not there, but he's not dead.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That
No,
is
is
what
he
happens.
canonically dead in the Girl Meets World universe?
No.
Oh, he was just a ghost.
Part of your
He was just
soul.
astral projecting himself.
I gotta start watching these.
I will say, unlike a lot of people, I thought Fuller House was bomb.com.
Okay.
I really enjoyed myself.
I like
I just
Fuller
haven't
House
watched it.
knowing what it was.
Yeah, you have to be clear.
It's not good.
No,
but I
not
knew what it
that,
was.
but bomb.com.
Yeah.
Because I'm living in a different time right now.
Yeah. No, it's all that in a bag of chips.
We all are.
All these shows need fans, and so do we. We love you guys, and that's why Fridays are for you. Fan Fridays. Let's get to a fan question before we get out of here. This is coming from Evan Borchard. I butcher names. You guys know that. Borchard? Good enough.
I think that's an educated guess.
Thank
I don't
you.
have
That's what I'd say.
Bouchard?
So, ooh, that's fancy, huh?
Butchered sounds wrong. So.
Well, Evan, our dear Evan, thank you for submitting this question. He wants to know, what would be the best movie to show a class of kindergartners? Has to be rated G. Otherwise, my vote would be Paddington 2. Oh God, I shouldn't be trusted showing any youngin anything. But Emma, I'm starting with you on this one.
Okay.
Best movie to show a class of kindergartners.
My inclination, and I think it's because Jonathan is in the booth, is wearing a shirt representing it today, is My Neighbor Totoro. because thank you, Jonathan. Because
Jonathan goes, yay.
well,
Gonna
because
fact
here's
check
the
us all
thing
in
is
real
that
time here.
there's definitely some weird elements to it that a kid is not going to think is weird. A kid's just going to accept like, cool. There's like weird forest creatures that these children are able to interact with, and they get in a bus that's also a cat, and like. The sort of core story behind it is about these girls who are living with their dad while their mom is very sick and in the hospital, and it's like kind of unclear if she's gonna be okay or not. So there is this like nice sort of central message about growing up and potentially dealing with loss and also being in tune with nature. So it's and it's about two little girls that are strong-willed and make their own choices. So that's my vote.
Rock on. Emma with the good answers always.
Yeah,
Billy,
answers.
follow that.
Far more practical. It's just whatever keeps them quiet. It's like, who cares? You're in kindergarten. I don't know what garbage is out there. The garbage my niece and nephew watch. Blippy and all this.
What is Blippy?
Blippy
Never heard of that
is-
one.
Blippy is a trip.
Who's
man.
Blippy?
I not for this show, but I encourage you all to go down the Blippy rabbit hole after this, where it started and where it ended up. And Dan's making a note. Blippy. rabbit
No, I've heard about Blippy.
yeah,
I'd
it's-
rather
Dan's
not.
gonna
That
stop
sounds like a
time
rabbit
and go
hole I don't
binge
wanna
some
go down.
Blippy.
I don't know, just
Okay.
whatever. Just
Blippy it is.
Put on like a Aladdin. But Aladdin's great.
Okay, Dan, I'll take the answer, but I don't know if I liked it.
What's wrong with Aladdin?
Nothing's wrong with Aladdin, but you said you want to keep them quiet. I think they're going to sing their brains out to that.
Yeah.
If their goal is to keep them quiet, you put on Aladdin, you think they're going to be like dead silent?
They don't know the song. If I'm assuming this is the first time they've seen Aladdin.
Yeah, I don't know. When I was a
How old
little
are you in
kid,
kindergarten?
though,
You're like 5?
5.
You pick up those words quick.
You do.
A whole new.
Yeah. By the end of the song, you're singing
Were you
along with
that
the
kid?
chorus.
Could you not control yourself?
Did you doubt that?
I guess.
You get it.
All
Come
right,
on.
fine.
Dan, what's your genius answer to this question?
I'm just gonna go sentimental. I'm gonna show them the first movie that I saw when I was a kid, which is An American Tail.
Oh,
This is a
I love
cute
American
movie.
Tail.
It's a cute movie. I think that you got Fyffe, you got a little history thrown in there, a little Statue of Liberty.
I had a Fyffe doll when I was a kid, and also my mom's dad's side of the family were Russian Jewish immigrants. So
There you go.
very
Perfect.
near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Fievel Goes West?
I don't mind it. I
pretty
think
good,
it's
actually.
cute. It doesn't have the weight of the first one, but it's got Jimmy Stewart. I believe. I'll look this up while we're talking. I believe that was Jimmy Stewart's last.
I think you're
role,
right.
Was the
Wow.
voice of the dog in
Yeah.
Fievel Goes West.
I think that's the only one I've seen. I don't know if I've seen the OG. Same
American
with
Tail?
like Rescuers. I've only seen Down Under. I've not seen the other one.
My only, I guess it's not beef with American Tail,
How
but
was Jimmy Fallon in IMDb before Jimmy Stewart? I put in Jimmy. Oh, because James Stewart. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
it was his last role.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Jimmy Stewart.
IMDb doesn't get that familiar.
James.
James.
As he should.
What's your beef?
Oh, my only beef is that so like this is listed in every top 5 Hanukkah movies that there are, and it's like you can't just call like it's
it's not a Hanukkah movie.
Wait, they call Fievel an American Tail a Hanukkah movie?
Like if you
That's
look
awful.
up Hanukkah movies,
Yeah, it's not.
It's listed
not.
as a Hanukkah movie, and it's like you can't just say that because like Jewish, like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just. I have been working on a project of my own, but like the lack of Hanukkah movies out there is egregious.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. Mara and I
truly
talk about
is.
this
And you
every
can't
year.
just
It's
be like
egregious.
American Tail is one of
What,
them.
they
What are you
list,
talking
like
about? We've got
Yentl in there too?
Yeah,
Like
just,
Fiddler on the Roof? Are they just like?
Yeah,
I know.
just movies with Jews in them.
Yeah.
Hanukkah movie. What?
Mark, are you listening? Yeah, there's
What is there? There's 8 Crazy Nights.
there's Hebrew Hammer.
There's very.
What?
It's,
Very
it's
few.
shocking.
Hammer.
That's
Yeah.
that's. We don't have many.
But wait, what is that? What is it?
It's a movie.
Aware of that.
Adam Goldberg, right?
Yeah,
Is it a
uh-huh.
comedy?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, it is. They also consider it a Kwanzaa movie, so that just shows you the extent that it is a
Double dip.
Hanukkah movie.
There is a
Yeah.
vast untapped market, and I can speak because I share my life with Amara, who every year talks about the fact that there are no
Yeah.
Hanukkah movies and how much a great Hanukkah movie would be appreciated.
So, to anybody listening right now who is in this industry, I did just write a Hanukkah script, and it's pretty not too shabby, as Adam Sandler might say.
Not too shabby.
So might as well throw that out there. All right, guys. I think my pick would be Lion King because remember who you are.
Just crap all over my choice.
I'm not crapping on you. I don't want to keep them quiet. I want a class of singing people. That's what you're going to get.
That'll keep their attention. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But quiet, not so much.
Not quiet. Yeah. Lion King's beautiful, and it teaches you about love and loss and loyalty and all those things.
These are 5-year-olds. Just get them through 10 a.m.
They're
That's
more
all you have to worry
perceptive.
about.
They're more perceptive than you give them credit
Billy about to have a kid, yo.
That's true. I'll get back to you in 5 years.
Let me know.
I'll try all 4 of these and see which one ends up being the best.
Yeah, you let me know. You're closer to it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was shown R-rated movies at way too young of age, so I'm just trying to keep them safe. Just keep them okay. Anyway, that's our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you guys think at home about all of these things. Kind of took a lot of twists and turns today, as we do here on SJU. Emma, until the next time, where can everybody keep up with you?
You can find me all over the internet, wherever Emma Fyffes are sold, at my name, Emma Fyffe, Twitter, Instagram. I got a website. I got a lot of thirst tweets about The Witcher on Netflix, so enjoy those.
Hey, gotta check that out. Billy Business.
Here, Fandom Entertainment. Tomorrow, Mandalorian. We're going to talk Mandalorian. That's where you can find me and
me
you.
as well. I will also be there.
We weren't invited.
No, I was actually. Joe, I think Joe was like, "Do you want to do it?" Or he's like, "Or I could do it." I'm like, "Joe, you should do it."
I was
know
not
that he
invited.
likes to talk about the Mandalorian.
And the food's going to be great.
Yeah, the food's amazing. I have so much FOMO right now. Damn, Murrell, where can everybody keep up with you?
You can keep up with me right here. You can keep up with me here on Twitter at MurrellDan. And that's pretty much it. I'm here and I'm on Twitter.
Get used to it. I'm Roxy Striar, everywhere at Roxy Striar. We'll see you guys on Monday for another SJU.